Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 51st episode of the PokéSells official podcast. My name is Rocco Mitchell. As always, I'm your host. And today we have back to back returning guests. My boy here, Brenin, also known as Squirtlesquad Collectibles on Instagram. And I don't know what else you guys
We're
do.
on, we're on Facebook as well.
Okay, and Facebook. But yes, Brennan, a member of previous member of the podcast, former guest. If you could just do a quick reintroduction, and for those that might not have known you.
Yeah, so life's changed quite a bit since that first podcast that we did. So still crazy. We have all the little stuff on our tables. We got 4 tables of, every full art, every playable, every um, art rare, all that kind of stuff that you could look for. Basically, a lot of the binders we actually put them in bins, so you can come to our table and we've got a slew of bins and they're all marked, so you can find what you're looking for. And then we got the bigger stuff on the table too, but we don't have a lot of the big like slabs and that kind of stuff. So we cater more to the smaller crowd. And then now we've gone into the bulk business. So that was not a thing back when we talked the first time around. So
Mhm.
I was showing you a picture before, but this is kind of what my week is like when I'm not actually on the show. So, and now we're traveling the country buying bulk. So,
Yeah.
I travel. Before I was traveling to shows, but now we're kind of in the middle of the week, going around and picking stuff up from people, so we can drop their prices a little bit by not shipping stuff out to people.
Absolutely wild. Yeah, and that's something that obviously we want to talk about this podcast, as I'm someone that does like obviously a lot of TCG player
Yep,
and stuff like that. So I have more of an understanding of like how the bulk runs through. Is there something with the audio? Is there?
I'm good
No.
on my
Oh,
end.
okay. Okay. It sounds a little weird on mine, but I think it might be my AirPods. Um, but it has been very good for me, and I understand the bulk business also competitive. But yeah, it's been crazy. Like I was telling you before we got on the podcast, I have about 30,000 cards organized or almost organized of bulk between hollow and non-hollow to hopefully ship out to you or whoever buys it. But yeah, it's awesome. I guess we can get right into it. So what kind of like got you guys to change into the bulk business, and what do you guys do with all this bulk?
So we really don't necessarily change into it. I would say it's almost like a second business. I've never. I used to be a tile contractor before this, and I was working long days my whole entire life. And I grew up on a farm and worked long days my entire life. So I will tell you now, I'm more exhausted than I was in that lifestyle. So,
Yeah.
but with 2 jobs now, there's the bulk and then there's the vending. So the vending's still the same. Nothing's really changed there. I guess we do, I'd say, bigger shows than we did before.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's one of those situations where the bulk kind of is the middle week stuff to the show. So we basically go to, let's say we're in Salem, Oregon this week. So I am basically from last weekend to this weekend traveling across the country buying bulk, and it kind of supplements the gas, the hotels, all that kind of stuff. So basically, the bulk business itself, we just middleman it. So we
Hmm.
really aren't picking through it. Like I was saying, with all this stuff back here, um, obviously it's not put into 5 slot boxes. So
Hmm.
if I go through it and I like see there's some night stretchers or Arvins or stuff like that, then obviously, I'm like, oh, maybe I should pick through this a little bit.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I don't have time. Like it's literally, I'm working 100 hours a week plus between the driving, getting ready for the vending. Obviously, long weekends are put into that already.
Yep.
Then and then organizing all this kind of stuff. So it's 2 full-time jobs in one,
Hmm.
and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't.
Yeah.
But with the bulk, we just basically middleman it. We don't have time for it. It's just me and my fiance, and then the kids. We can pay them a little bit of money on the side just to help with organizing and stuff. But So basically, we just middleman it. We have a contract. We went to Card Party down in Tampa down in
Mhm.
June, and we were offered a contract. Basically, so we have to hit quotas every month to meet our demands, and we've been crushing that. So that hasn't been an issue. But we also are on the road 24/7. So
Mhm.
and it does take away from being home, which kind of sucks, but it's also fun to just get out there and explore the world. And now with like what you do with podcasting and stuff,
Mhm.
we need to get more into like my life and like, you know,
Mhm.
what I do, because I want people to understand and see like clarity of like there's other businesses inside Pokemon other than just vending, other than just, buying lots and flipping them, other than just doing whatnot. Um, Obviously, there's bulk. So, like, there's so many different venues to make money in this hobby.
Yes.
And we basically do two of them. So,
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that, where I believe that, because for me, very similar. Um, Something I've found really successful for me is what we've been doing recently with like wholesale buying, essentially, of like cheaper slabs, like cheaper end slabs. So stuff like, gosh, but like stuff like this, which we'll just pick up in mass, mostly for we have a guy, not necessarily a contract, but we have a guy that we work for, and we'll send it to him. And then he sends them off to whoever he sends off. But very similar thing, and that's something that I always try to talk about, is how there is always different ways and different avenues to make like money within Pokemon.
yeah,
It it's
exactly.
all different, and I think it's great. So I don't know how much you're able to say, but is there, when you're sending them off, do you know what they do with it, or like what is it?
So, I would assume they go into repacks or they're using them for TCG player. Um, I've never gotten complained at before because I do pick it a little bit.
Mhm.
Once I go through it, like I was saying, if I get a 5 slot box, um, I don't have it organized, but a 5 slot box full of cards. I just look through and make sure that all the hollows are in there. They're separated from other things. Then I don't mess with that. Like I don't have time.
Mhm.
But like with this kind of stuff, like I was saying, I'll go through and look and see if there's your Arvins, your because they're $2 cards. They're
Mhm.
nice stretches are $2 cards, etc. So there's a lot of value in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll look through that kind of stuff, and then obviously we put those on the table too, where a lot of people don't at vending um, shows have playables. So a lot of people know us as being the people that have playables, which is great for us because after we do more and more shows, people realize they can always rely on us to have them. So,
Mhm.
but other than that, I assume they would TCG player then. For instance, I'll buy like a bunch of stuff that's like hollows that would be from kind of like the XY era that might be worth $2, $3, $4 a piece. I care less.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of stuff that I don't have enough knowledge or time to sit there and literally go through every single one and find prices. Whereas like the playables today, I can tell you every single playable and I don't even play the game, so
Yeah.
um, but that I know that could be used. So it's one of those things where there's so much money that's hidden in that kind of stuff. It's just time. Time is money, and people don't have it. So
No, for sure.
unfortunately, it's one of those things where if you got the time and you've got the knowledge, then you might be sent out a little small gold mine. But you know, very well a TCG player how it works with pinching
Mhm.
pennies to make a buck on every single day. Then so basically, I assume they do TCG player, and then I assume they do repacks and that kind of stuff as well. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but
That's cool. Same for me. I don't really know what my guy does. I just send him off and I get money, whatever.
yeah,
But that's really cool. I So obviously you travel across country. I know when we spoke personally at the Cards and More, that you said that you buy from a lot of whatnot streamers. So is it, you said you have to reach a quota, is it kind of like the person tells you people who have all these bulk that you buy from, or do you
No,
have to go out and find it?
that's all sourcing by me.
Mhm.
A lot of people that are probably watching this probably get annoyed with all my ads that I post. But I spam the heck out of Facebook for this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I have about 20 different ads going through the marketplace right now in the Northeast because I'm going to be going through there. So after Christmas, I have a Raleigh, North Carolina show. Then after that, I'm going straight up to Maine. So, but I have that going right now. So basically, I'm getting messages every day from people, and that's the nice thing about us too is we'll buy, a couple thousand bulk as long as it's worth our while on the trip to pick up, and it's like not hours out of our direction for a little
Yeah.
bit. We'll buy that little stuff from people, and a lot of the bigger bulk buyers are only going to card stores. They're only buying what's like worth their time, where we grind it out and we'll
They'll do it.
pay people that need just a few bucks, and then that's what the card shows are great for as well. So at the card shows, obviously we get our name out. So doing card shows around the country, we just started doing the bulk in end of July. So it's one of those things where we've never been to Oregon before, but we're going to be doing Oregon next month, sorry. And people that are at this show, and they'll say they see that on our bulletin board, it says we're buying bulk. Now the next month when we come back to Portland, all of a sudden we might have 5 people that sells bulk.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I didn't know you bought bulk. We just have this stuff sitting in our closet. That's what everyone says. Everybody has it, nobody wants it. So
Mhm.
it's one of those situations where as we travel the country, we get more and more people in different areas that refer us. Like
And it
Nashville's a hotbed for us. Tampa's become a big hotbed for us. We've
Mhm.
done repeat shows there now. Vegas is pretty good for us. We did 3 Vegas shows last year.
Yes.
So it seems like word of mouth is a big influencer.
Mhm. Yeah, that's cool. And that's awesome. Like that's if you want to be known as the person that has that and buys that, and you're kind of doing the hard work now, but it'll pay off later, doing the groundwork now, and by word of mouth, you become like the bulk buyer, um, which is really, really cool, and that's really awesome. And I get that too with like TCG player people just like I've had this stack for months. Can you just cash me out on it? I'm like, sure, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's been great.
And then people have full-time jobs. A lot of these vendors that are doing shows, they're not actual permanent vendors. That's them taking their time out from their actual personal job. So they've already got, that little side gig on top of a 40, 50-hour week. So they don't have time for that either. So yeah, we try to take a little bit of that hassle off of them. So
Yeah, for sure. I think that's great. And that's great. So you obviously is something else that you've done. I know you guys tried to cater to like the audience and stuff like that with like not low, like lower end, I guess, or whatever, but like the more like cards that like playables and other types of things.
the niche,
Um,
the niche, you know,
yeah,
trying to think of like a Spidox full art,
yeah,
that
yeah,
most people wouldn't have.
yeah, exactly.
Something like that we for sure have in our bins that people reach out to us just for some stupid little card, but that also might get you another sale too. So they might come for a $2 full art card, but then all of a sudden they walk away with $24 and something else. So
Exactly.
that's kind of our goal.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that obviously that's great for y'all, and that's something that is cool. Like, and that's something that I've niched down to. I've niched down a lot of PSA ones. I've niched down to a lot of like other things too, which has been like really, really fun, and really cool. And you get an audience for it, and it's genuinely like really nice to have an audience for it. But how has obviously like I know the whole like Pokemon thing has like people have been like criticizing it, going that it's going down, it's going side, whatever happened. Um, have you guys felt affected by that by being in the lower end space, or has sticking to that niche
So
kind of like safeguarded you?
yeah, so we started full time doing shows in December of last year. So we're at right around a year. And let's just say up until end of July, I'd say we were like killing it. Shows were incredible. Um, even with the smaller stuff, it still affects that as well because shows have been a lot slower for foot
Mhm.
traffic as well. And don't get me wrong, some of the shows that we do sometimes they advertise differently, or
Mhm.
they might raise the prices for the events, or that could also take part of it. But there's definitely been a lot less people at shows.
Mhm.
And I think it all just is a cycle. I mean, you just got to ride the
Mhm.
wave. But definitely, I would say at the beginning of August, we definitely saw a decline for sure.
Yeah.
And the same person that would come and buy, let's say, $100 worth of random cards, all of a sudden isn't like investing in the next set, or they're just holding off because they see promos are skyrocketing to
Mhm.
whatever value. Now it seems like it's all dropped, but I would
Yeah.
say the shows have been still a little on the decline, and I think that's because of the holidays. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I've
think
heard that.
I think it's just I've only been doing it for about a year, so I honestly am not the best person to ask, but just for my own like visual of seeing what's happened, I would just ride the wave. It's one of
Mhm.
those things where once people start getting taxes back, or they can see that the prices aren't tanking even further. They're kind of like stabilizing at this point.
Yeah.
That just gives them some like thought to invest in it again or whatever. So
No,
because
for sure.
even in a downturn, I'm seeing more and more people still selling when these prices are like lows. I won't even say lows, but corrections. And it seems really weird to me that like we know it's not what it was 3 months ago or 2 months ago, but people are still selling ridiculous amounts of stuff, and I'm just like, um, of course I'll buy it because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Um, but or relative what it was, but like, yeah, it's very crazy. But you also got the holidays. People have bills, and
Mhm.
uh, I noticed this with bulk. The bulk really helps a lot of people, which is very humbling to see because like everybody's got bulk, but nobody really wants it. Is what we always say.
Yeah.
But people have bills. People have other means that might not just be for the hobby. It might be they have a car to fix, or they have can't afford Christmas presents this winter or
Mhm.
something, and something like that that's just been collecting dust to them is now helping pay for
Worth
something.
something.
So it's
Exactly.
kind of cool to see.
Mhm. No, for sure. I think that's great, and something that I've also experienced too. And I agree with you like 100%, thinking that like it's just part of the market, and like I'm in it for the long game. I think we're both in it for the long game, and finding those avenues is gonna be great. Um, what is the biggest amount of bulk that you've ever purchased?
So 250,000 at one spot, and I actually just picked it up. It's in the van right now, but so that was at a card store that reached out to me. So we couldn't come to a price on his hollows, but we came to a price on his just the regular uncommon common cards, and we came to an agreement, and I bought 250,000 off of them. So,
It's crazy.
but luckily for him, it wasn't this.
Yeah.
It's all nicely organized, and I don't have to literally just pay him, and now I got to drop it off. But that's about it.
Cool.
But that was a card store. I would say the most people have about 5 to 15,000 cards
Hmm.
that they sit on at a time. Then they just offer. I did the exact same thing before I did all this. I would find my bulk buyers and basically just reach out and ship it off to them, and so it's literally the same process. So I remember exactly how it works, and um, but yeah, that was one card store. So I would say we rely mostly on just regular consumers like you and I
Hmm.
would be, not actual card stores. But someday once we get a bigger van and we get even bigger, then that's hopefully the next step as well. But we also don't want to lose. We don't want to lose that niche of where we're at,
Hmm.
because we we definitely want to get bigger. We want to always be more successful. But I also feel more humbled seeing the people that are just everyday people rather than big, you know, stores as well. So
Yeah.
it's very refreshing to like just hear the positivity of like just everyday people as well. So
Hmm. That's awesome. And no, I think that's great that, obviously you can go big with the card shop, but you can also go local and go small and like touch a lot of people and like really make an impact on them. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. What what has so like when you're meeting someone is like a normal meetup, you pull up to their house because obviously it's a little harder. Like kind of, does it just depend on the person and situation?
Yeah. So for the most part, it's something local. Um, Obviously, like going forward, if it's somebody I've met a few times, then sure. But I'm not going to just go up to some random stranger's home and,
Hmm.
obviously my fiance doesn't see me every day, so she gets paranoid and freaked out, and if she does like that kind of stuff, she wants me to pin drop, so that something does happen or whatever. But no, it's mostly your gas stations, your card stores are very great because obviously we're bringing the business into the card store. So just because you're a card store, you can always sell me bulk that you buy for a cheaper rate, and we can work those kind of partnerships as well. So
Hmm.
I just dealt with a couple guys in Nashville as well, to where we're also working that partnership now. So, but it's one of those situations where going to a card store is great because obviously that business is being pushed into them.
Hmm.
And with all your Walmarts and your GameStops and all that stuff that's going on with them right now, I miss the card stores having all the focus on them and the business being
Yeah.
brought to them,
Yeah.
because unfortunately it seems like they're hurting with
Hmm.
product and all that stuff. So,
Hmm.
and then just like I said, gas stations like a McDonald's, just somewhere public. I've done police stations before, so it's whatever is comfortable for the customer. Like, we don't want to sit there and be like, no, you have to meet us at this specific location.
Hmm.
For instance, we're in Omaha and we had 10 stops to pick up there. People are like, well, it's kind of inconvenient if I have to go all the way there. I'm like, just give me an address. I said,
Hmm.
I'll obviously correlate it with all these other people and try to make it convenient for myself. But we even go to like, no, we'll meet you if it's a block away from your house, and I feel safe myself. So it it's one of those situations where we can't meet the means of every person,
Hmm.
but we do our best to try to accommodate. So
That's cool. That's awesome. Um, for those that might not know or want to sell to you guys, what are your rates? Like what and how have you kind of come up with these rates? Have these rates been like given to you by the people you work with, or is it kind of
yeah.
something you? Oh,
So basically, we have like a rate that we get paid, and obviously, I want to stay as competitive as I can. People need to realize that yes, you're not shipping your stuff, so you're saving those fees. But also, we have hotel fees, we have gas, and I can't wait to go to California. That's going to be a heart attack. How expensive that is from back home in Nashville. But yeah, it's one of those situations. Like, yeah, we try to be as competitive as we can, and like obviously I need to make money. We need, like, I'm on the road 24/7, but rates, we always try to stay competitive, and we might be getting a bump come here right around the holidays. So basically, right now we're at 13 cents per thousand for the commons on commons, and then we're at 40 cents on the hollows. So actually, the hollows, I just got my rate decreased, so I'm actually making less money on the hollows right now.
mm,
Some people pay more in other parts of the country. Well, my buyer doesn't. So, but we have a great relationship, and we just want to stay with the same people. We want the loyalty, and
mhm,
then later on, maybe we'll get better rates because we've been with them for so long. But with the commons and commons, I think we will get a slight increase coming up in about a couple weeks, I think. Um, but again, that's something I have to correlate with them. So
mhm.
my rates are jumping up and down 24/7. So it's not like they're always the same. Um, I don't know if you've seen it.
Sorry.
So there was a time where I was paying just 10 per 1,000, and now we're at 13. So
Mhm.
it has moved. So
Yeah, that's great. I so yeah, and that's what really got me. I was like, whoa, what is the hollows? I didn't realize that hollows could be so
oh, one sec.
expensive.
To point that out too, there was a time where common and commons, like back in I think 16, 17, were selling for literally I think $70 per 1,000.
It's crazy.
So if that tells you a little bit about markets,
It's wild, and it's like just for bulk.
yeah, just
Um,
yep.
but what really got me was the commons and or the hollows. I was like, whoa, I know I have like a couple thousand hollows. Like, let me go and package all those up. And that's literally what I've been doing. Like for the past week, I've just been organizing everything, and I'll shoot
Yeah.
you a text whenever you're back home. But that's really cool and awesome.
The
And
biggest thing I tell people now, because nobody ever thinks to do it, but literally separate them as you open your packs. So
mhm,
obviously get the fun out of your packs and enjoy your time because that's what they're for, right? But when you're organizing your stuff, literally do it as you open your packs, and it makes life so easy. Because
yeah,
as a bulk buyer, it can get so tiring when you go through it and you're like, oh my god, this
mhm,
is. You don't think it'd take you forever, but it does. I mean, it's
yeah,
exhausting. So I get everyone's pain. It
yeah.
it isn't fun, but it has to be done. So
So what so for example, obviously when you're not driving, what is you said today was kind of when you were texting, today was kind of like a more like chill day, you're just at the hotel sorting stuff. What does that look like when you're not on the road to prepare to send off to the people that you work for?
so funny story is I have done nothing today. I've slept all day,
Oh,
just trying to catch up. Because like I said, my gas runs out. And then obviously I have a show this weekend, so I'm trying to catch up a little bit on sleep. But so basically, what I do is organize it. All this has to be broken down into boxes. Also, so I have room in the vehicle because as this stuff, it looks this big, but it could be half as big once I put them into the boxes. So that just adds so much more space in the vehicle. Um, but basically, once I get to hotels, I'm usually doing that for 3-4 hours a night. So this stuff will probably take me about a day's worth of work just to organize it all. Because I've looked through it as I bought it to where it was like
mhm,
somewhat organized, but it's still a lot. Um, so basically, I just organize it, get it into 5-roll boxes, and then that's how they want it when they buy it. And as of right now, I'm not shipping stuff, so everything is at a drop off spot. So I have locations to drop off at, and as long as I, you know, everything looks in order as like I'm selling to them as if somebody was selling to me. They look through it, make sure it all fits to what they want, and then it's good.
awesome. That's
But
great. What
I was
continue?
gonna say, but I don't have much free time. That's something that Marsha's been on me about is, just stop,
Mhm,
stop doing so much and like enjoy life as well. And so like little stops here and there, I just make sure that I'm like, oh, I'm only this far from this place, so maybe we'll take like an extra hour just to go this direction. And I just drove past Yellowstone. It was during the middle of the night, but I'm like literally at Yellowstone and I didn't get to enjoy it. So
good.
last month I was at the Salem, Massachusetts. That'd be cool to just enjoy that whole history and see like the museum. And I was literally in Salem, Massachusetts, and I didn't get to enjoy it. So
Mhm,
it's one of those things where you just have to try to work around yours. Obviously, sometimes you got to get somewhere right away. Like I have a show in Houston next weekend. I only have 4 days to get from here to Houston, and I got both to buy. So you don't really have time. But
mhm.
if you get it, take it. Enjoy
Yeah,
life because
yeah. I think that I feel the same way, and it was very similar when I went to Chicago Collecticon. That it was we went to Chicago, right? I'm like, "Oh, I've never been to Chicago," but I literally went to maybe, like I didn't even go downtown Chicago, but I went to, like, a little we went to, like, eat and stuff like that, like, a couple times, and that was, like, my little break from the show, you know?
they're also
Um,
getting done at nighttime too, and you don't get to
yeah,
enjoy the day of it. So
exactly. So I feel that 100%. I think that's just part of the business that we do, part of the job that we do, the line of work, and it's definitely just part of it, and sometimes it's fun, and that's like when I look forward to like after high school and after everything, like once I go to shows and I have more time and I'm not necessarily constrained to school, or it's a looser schedule for school, um, being able to stay, maybe go a day early, explore the city a little bit, or stay a day after, do something like that. But it's
so
it's
so to that point, like one of the biggest things that I've always done with like my daughters, we always enjoyed going to zoos or aquariums, and like we have over 30 pins and keychains from all these zoos and stuff.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, she's not with me 24/7 anymore like she used to be. But um, so I have a show in Omaha next month. I might go to the Omaha Zoo
Mhm.
because I have kind of a big gap before the Portland show. So, and then I talked to Marsha, my fiance, who you've met, and we're going to be in San Diego for a card party. So we've already paid for our tables for that, and then we're going to go to the San Diego Zoo too. So yeah, we're working on the scheduling things closer. But a great example, we signed up for PokeCon in Miami,
Mhm.
4 days because those are 3 day shows. So you have to be there on Thursday, not Friday. And we were doing Vegas at the end of February. So I was like, yeah, that was probably pretty stupid of me. So
Yeah.
so that's a little too far for us to go. But I get a little over ambitious, I guess. And
Yeah.
but so we have to switch that out with a show in Nashville actually. So we'll be back home for that weekend. But
Nice.
it's one of those things where yeah, you got to just kind of realize what you can actually do in that little amount of time, and then with that little bit of time, definitely go out and explore the world. Because being on the road, I've seen some pretty freaking cool things that most
Mhm.
people don't get to just enjoy. So
Mhm. Yeah. Where was it that you went earlier this week? You went to some.
so I was in the
Yeah.
Dakotas, and then I went to Mount Rushmore. And then I wanted to go see Crazy Horse, but it was literally closing down as I came in. So at Crazy Horse, I guess you take a bus and you get to go down there and visit it. But the only unfortunate thing was the bus closed at like 4 o'clock that day.
Mm,
So I got there and I'm thinking I have an hour and a half of daylight left, and unfortunately I didn't. But
dang,
it's not like
that
I won't be
sucks.
able to go through there again. But
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely like finding a way to balance it for sure, and making sure that everything's in a row. But yeah, that's great. I'm happy that y'all have found that way, and it's great that I mean I like that's awesome what you guys are doing. What was I was gonna ask, how was card party? Because I believe last time we spoke you hadn't gone to it. How was it? I really want to go to one.
so
How's it been?
Card Party is on another level. It obviously we fit perfectly into that niche because it's all kids. So we we were in the same pod as like Mason from Cardinal Gaming, and
Mhm.
very big name in the hobby and on YouTube and stuff. And they had stuff I was super jealous about in their in their tables and stuff that like I could only imagine having.
Mhm.
But it wasn't the type of stuff you should be bringing to that kind of a card show. That weekend we slaughtered it. I mean, we
Mhm.
just absolutely, and our profit margins are so good on that stuff, the little stuff. But stuff in our cases
Oh yeah.
was not selling. So that was one of those kind of card shows. You need the small stuff for those shows.
Mhm.
Um, Kids only have so much money to spend. Obviously, they can find really cool stuff for cheaper, but they can't afford some of your PSA 10 Charizard cards or Gengars or that kind of stuff. And so you just need to know what market you have. But that show that Pat Flynn had put on for that event was beyond incredible. A few of the things that he did, like he had like a little sheet of basically Pokemon. So kids would have to go around to these
Mhm.
tables and try to just find the Pokemon that's on the sheet. And it was kind of like a little treasure hunt type thing, I guess. So that's like something, just on top of what most people that was different. He did stuff like he was handing out like cards, so like kids had like usually limited edition cards all over the place.
Nice.
I didn't get to personally meet him, which kind of sucked, but he's very. I mean, all the different seminars and the different names that he gets at these shows. I mean, it's just I saw so many different people that like I like idolized just watching YouTube
Mhm.
that are just everyday people. Like I was literally next to Mason all weekend long, and
Mhm.
I just love his channel.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to go check out another channel, let's go check him out, Mason at Cardinal Gaming. Just great
Cool.
stuff because he has that perspective of like a card store. So like how you want to open up a card store someday.
Mhm.
Um, that's the perfect person to watch because he's letting you live through him vicariously. So it's just very cool. It's very neat to see. And there's just so many other faces that I'm just like, holy crap, is that who I think it is over there? Or,
Yeah.
they're just everyday people, just like you and I. So,
Yeah.
but
I
they're
got
also incredible. Just, and you've seen it at CollectCon as well. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a different crowd. Most people there though were families. Most of the people there were just kids that just wanted to experience a good time in the hobby, and that's what we cater to. So it's just like we've already bought our tables for next year. That's
awesome.
that was the first thing that we did for this next year. So by far, very cool experience. So
Awesome. That's really cool. I'm yeah, I would love to go to one, as like a lot of my content friends are like that. But Collecticons was very similar to me. Where it's you have, like we saw the Bulbasaur and we saw all these people. I'm like, whoa, it's all those guys on YouTube.
yeah,
And it was crazy. What are you so you said like YouTube and stuff you watch. What are you like watching videos and stuff as you're like driving all these miles listening to podcasts? Like what?
listening, not watching.
Yeah. Yeah,
Stay
yeah.
But no, yours are great. Yours are great because I don't
Thank
have
you.
to watch them. It's one of those things that can be background music as I'm going down the road. And I listen to certain podcasts of sports and won't get into politics, but I listen to that kind of stuff and music and family here and there or friends in the hobby. But yeah, it gets lonely on the road, so you have to keep yourself entertained somehow. Um, but it's one of those things where like just straight podcasts, help for a couple hours a week. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And
But there's a lot of YouTube that I haven't caught up on that I had to be in the hotel room to physically watch it. So we don't do that on the road. So
yeah. Yeah, that's great. And like I definitely know for sure that for me, especially like when I'm packing like DCG player orders late, like putting on the YouTube video while I'm packing or doing that helps. So I would assume that it's very similar for that.
yeah.
Obviously you got to be safe and that's really really cool. I guess what would be like, was this something that you guys wanted to do or expected to do? Or is this kind of like, no, it kind of just came to you?
No. So it was basically just a bend. It just became a means to pay more bills, or to better our lives and stuff like that. So like I said before, it's harder than my tile job that I had, and that was me running that business all by myself, no employees, and taking care of that. Obviously exhaustion from that kind of work. This is more mental exhaustion, or just being by yourself, boredom type of exhaustion. At least in a house, when I was tiling, you had other contractors or the homeowner, or just people around you to see. When you're in a car by yourself, driving across the country, it gets a little quiet. So it's just another form that you didn't expect to like wear into yourself, but did not expect to be to buy in bulk. But again, like I said, there's so many different avenues, whether it's bulk, whether it's whatnot. The amount of people that say, "Oh, are you using this for whatnot?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." Or TCG player, there's so many people that get into the TCG player stuff. And if I had time to do it, I would do it, but I don't.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I'm not home to where I could like hire somebody because unless there's somebody you could really trust, you're not there enough to maintain that kind of visual. You can't visualize it, I guess. But yeah, it's I just thought I was going to be vending and just doing shows, and obviously the bills or the money coming in would be a lot less because you only have one avenue of revenue. But you never know. Next year I might be running a show for all I know. Like, you never know. Just always be ambitious, always have a drive. And then it's just amazing what 1 year could do.
For sure. That's
I was a tile contractor literally a year ago, and who the hell knew I was going to be running two businesses within the hobby? So
yeah. I can agree to that 100%. Obviously, it's like the end of the year. People are like closing up, thinking of all the stuff that they did or didn't do or wish they could do. And I was like, man,
Just
the
do it.
amount, yeah, for real. Number one, just do it. Just do what you want to do. There's a way to do it. If you find a way to do it, the opportunity will present itself to you. But like how much my life has changed in a year is like crazy. Like I never thought I'd be doing this. I thought where I am now, I thought it would take me a couple, like
Yeah, I
three,
remember
four
the
years.
first few videos of yours and just your
Yeah.
goals then, and where I've already seen you exceed those goals. And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely, you just got to have the drive. Most
Yeah.
people unfortunately don't.
Yeah.
And
It's really a blessing. Definitely really a blessing for sure. Um, but yeah, I in this line, obviously I know you guys said like I know you guys don't do energies or whatever, all that type of stuff. What have when experiencing this side of the hobby, I guess maybe it's a little less because you work with more people one on one, but have there been any, I don't want to say like scams, but have there been any like CD like deals or like stuff where people try to be tricky and stuff like that?
so, I mean, it's on such a minute level to where I really don't care.
Mhm.
But you'll open up boxes, ETBs all of a sudden, like, you know, I'll look through an ETB and then, I'll just go through, this stuff, and then, oh, there's Japanese cards in there.
Mhm.
So it might be like $2 worth of Japanese cards. So like I don't really fret about it. But if I do see something that I know somebody accidentally put through there, I'll just say, hey, can you just make sure next time that you take the Japanese cards out because we can't sell those. Or like we do not actually let people ship to us. And
Mhm.
the reason, I mean, because think of how much easier it'd be if somebody shipped us stuff.
Mhm.
But what I've noticed from buying bulk from people is they won't take out energy cards or they won't take out. So like there's plenty of deals where I really meet people that I actually turn them down because they don't understand how long it physically takes to sort through this stuff, and we can't sell it as what it is. It has to have energy cards out, the code cards. It has to have no hollows mixed in with the comments. Like they're very specific about what they want. And I see it all the time. And I just say, hey, I can't buy this from you, unfortunately. If you want, you can take the time to take the stuff out, and we can meet up with you because we'll be through here within the next couple of months at least. Or you can try to find somebody to buy it, but I'm sure they'll tell you the same thing. But it's one of those things where it's on such a minute scale because like with bulk, it's so cheap. But I guess if you add it up, obviously it adds up. But it's so small to where you really don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Whereas like let's say I was getting a slab and all of a sudden I see like somebody faked a slab and it doesn't have the little PSA embroider on the bottom or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're out, hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's quite a bit different than that. With us,
Yeah.
if we're getting scammed on, fake cards, it's really not happening in the bulk.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, for sure. I've
biggest thing would be the
definitely,
Japanese cards, I guess. But
yeah, and that's actually what let's see here. I have actually right here. I took out all Japanese stuff.
and I tell people, I said I wish we could take it. Obviously, that's more money in my pocket if I could. But unfortunately, our buyers don't want it. So
Yeah.
and then
Are there
and then
people?
I get asked about other hobbies as well, and
Mhm.
Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, and I'm like, trust me, if I could buy it, I would buy it. But
Mhm.
I can only sell what I can sell. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's I wish I could take it all.
Yeah. It's definitely yeah, I'm sure there will come a time where that happens. And that you'll be able to do that or that an opportunity like that will open up in the market. Especially with One Piece. I know One Piece has been booming. I'm sure you've been hearing a lot of stuff about One Piece bulk from people because of how big it's booming right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, that's
What
great.
I've noticed too is a lot of the bigger people that do the Magic, I get offered so many cards, and I'm just like, holy cow, that is like an ungodly amount of cards. And I guess I just don't ever go to a store and see mystery packs of Magic cards, or you don't see TCG flooded with Magic cards or whatever. So it makes sense, but yeah, I wish there was a market for it because man, I could swoop up so much of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's maybe hopefully that's something that like comes in the future, but nah, I know.
Maybe next year I'll be doing mystery packs of Magic cards. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll see.
You'd have to probably make it with like some type of like
Well,
playable
the
way
first
or
thing I should
something.
do is probably inform myself on how to play Magic and what Magic's all about. Because I look at a pack and I'm lost. Like
Yeah.
I love sports, but I could open up a pack of sports cards and I can tell you a damn thing about the cards. So
Yeah.
it's one of those situations where there's so much knowledge to be gained before you even delve into any of that stuff. But
Same thing for me with like well, Magic I know a little bit more about Magic, but like sports cards in general is like I don't know anything about it. And I have friends that like know a lot about it. I don't know. It's weird
yeah,
for me. It's boring. But yeah, that's cool. What has been obviously I know like you said that like I know obviously recently you guys got engaged, so congratulations on that.
like
How has that been like navigating like balancing family stuff? Because essentially like what I think about not necessarily, but kind of like a trucker in the way, like how you're driving long far distances doing stuff. It's kind of like that very similar gig.
that's what I get compared to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Don't get me wrong. And we also rescue cats for a living. So
Yeah.
it's one of those situations where like that is a future goal of mine is to like open up like no kill shelters or cat cafes or like just to kind of get into that realm eventually. But so I guess that's a future goal of mine. So it won't be in a year from now, but that will eventually be down the line. Um, but it's one of those things where like Marsha is at home, with the kids and the cats and the family, and it's like I'm not home. So
Mhm.
basically, just keeping in touch, calling her, and I get bad at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm so drained sometimes. I just don't even think about it. But just making sure that she knows that I love her. Obviously, family is very important to me, but this is also a way to pay bills. It's it's one of those situations where she'll fly into Houston next weekend to see me, so she'll be vending at that show. She'll fly into all the card parties, some of the bigger shows she'll fly into. So not only does it help me with running 4 tables, but we've kind of learned to like make it to where that's just another form of us to see each other.
Mhm.
But for instance, she wants me to do more Nashville shows. So I reached out to Jeff Roberts recently. Haven't heard back from you, Jeff. So if you're watching this, please contact me. But she wants me to do more Nashville shows just so I'm home more. Um, but if we're not doing a show, we're not making money. So bills also have to be paid. And as any trucker that drives around the country knows, it's the same way. It's literally, on the road or you're not making money. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
um,
And it's tough, and I know it's like definitely obviously it makes sense for you guys because you're working, you're doing it so much, but I can imagine that it's tough for sure. And but I mean, it's great, man. That what you're doing. Are you taking your show inventory with you as well?
yeah. So I got the cases here. I gotta
Mhm.
reprice all that out yet tonight, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, always keeping up on that stuff, and obviously the cases and all that stuff are on the van. But yeah, that doesn't end either. So obviously I got all this to do, but that's important as well. So
Mhm. And that's cool. I So you said Nashville is a good spot. What trends have you like figured out? Like, is there maybe like more ripping in a city, so it's a good spot? More creators, like how is
yeah,
that?
yeah. So I have, and the biggest thing is if like I have little honey holes, and I don't want to say them, but
Yeah, for sure.
specific cities we do really well in, and that's
Mhm.
because there might not be a card store that buys bulk, or they pay really ungodly low rates, or whatever it might be. But there's some bigger cities you're like, wow, like I literally go there and I don't buy any bulk. I literally just drive through it, and you would never think that.
Mhm.
And so I think it's just competition, or people that have stores, or what it might be. Um, but there's some cities that you would never think that I buy as much bulk as I do from, and there's cities where you think I'd buy a ton from, and I literally just drive right by it. It's kind of crazy, but it's the nature of the beast. But also, like I said, like driving across the country, um, I went through the Dakotas this last, or South Dakota this last time, and through Montana. Next time I go through to the Portland show, I'll pick a different route, and I'll go through, something that might be 100 miles north and take that highway instead, or vice versa. And because we're buying from people, we're not buying from card stores.
Yeah.
We'd like to, don't get me wrong, but we're buying a lot from actual customers where those people aren't going to waste their time to go buy it.
Mhm.
And so if we can get on different routes and kind of just, I guess, maybe, let's say in the Dakotas, I'm going to see them a lot less because they're in the
Mhm.
Dakotas, unfortunately, but at least they're getting seen. At least they know they can sell it to us. Because it's one of those situations where nobody's driving through the Dakotas buying bulk compared to if they can just pop into the whole East Coast, for instance, where there's all those
Mhm.
major cities that are an hour apart from each other. So it's very different. But certain areas definitely are better than others. And
Mhm.
I've noticed a lot of it has to do with like the card stores that they might have as well. So
Cool. That's great, and that's awesome, and that's like how to find success in any business is like analyzing trends, right? Analyzing like
oh, and
the
it's always
census.
always learning. You
Yeah.
like it's crazy. You learn also like what sells better at shows, for instance.
Mhm.
Like we would do so much of one thing, and then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, this isn't really profiting for us. Like Pokeballs, for instance. I used to buy a slew of Pokeballs. Well, that kind of bit me in the butt. Um, People need them. Don't get me wrong. You'll sell a ton of them at one show, but then you'll sit on them for months. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, God, that was a stupid buy. I can't.
Mhm.
So I told Marsha that's like no more Pokeballs. Like, so we've had that on the buy list, and we've actually taken it off the buy list. Um, when they do the next special set, we'll obviously buy them again, but we'll have to buy them at a cheaper rate because
Mhm.
they don't move as much as people would assume they would.
It would. Yeah.
Um, and it's one of those situations where there's certain things that we've done shows and we're like, holy crap, we sold so many of those. We need to pay a little bit more so we can get more.
Mhm.
Um, and then at that point, then we can fill our boxes more. So like, even if we're
Mhm.
making less money on it, at least it's available to the customer. And
Mhm.
then at that point, they're going to know that they can come back to us in the future. So
Mhm. Yeah, for
it's,
sure. And
and you've done it yourself with what you sell as well, where you kind of fed knowledge from another person. And
mhm. Yeah, and for sure, I've done that, and it's been great. And what for me also has like helped a lot as well is and it's something I've come to realize because I know you see it, we all see it, but someone will pull up on their Instagram or their Facebook, whatever. It's like buying this any amount, infinite budget, whatever, and people like start to laugh, like what? And really, what I think it is like a statement, like, "Hey, we're buying the most," and like exactly what you said, we need to buy more so we could sell more of this because it works for us. Everyone has like their specific niche that's gonna work,
yeah,
and I think that that's like great and something that's gonna that you buy more somewhere. I mean, you'll pick up one run's like what, like 2 weeks for you across the whole country probably?
roughly. And there's
Yeah,
there's some that'll be like 3 weeks long. Um, some that'll be a week, and I'll be home
yeah,
luckily for a little bit extended stay. But yeah, I'd say roughly 2 to 3 weeks.
yeah,
So
and on a single run, like well, I guess you're dropping them off as you go, but how, like, you're probably
about
picking up, like, what, like
750,000 roughly.
yeah, yeah, that's I was gonna say, and it half to a million cards in one run is, like, what I was gonna say, and, I mean, that's, like, crazy, like, I've never heard anyone else do that. but it works for you guys. You make good money doing it, so why not continue to do it, you know? So I think that's great. What are kind of like um, your plans for 2026 and going into the future?
Yeah, so I spent way more money already buying certain shows for next year. So like Vegas, that's been pushed from 3 shows to 4 shows. So I've already paid for those. All the card parties. Like going forward, we're going to be doing every card party. So we've already, and actually we're doing 5 tables at those shows. So
Oh,
we, because Marshall will be at all those, so it's not just one person over 5 tables, but we can get more stuff out that's less value, but it's seen by the eyes. That's what we're going to do. We are going to try to dip into a couple of collecticons coming up. They're hard to get into, so those are.
I know.
So we'll see about those, but there's a couple on my radar that I want to do, and then um, CCS with Charlie, which
Mhm,
congrats to him. He's now got 2 more stores, so he doesn't have just Atlanta that we would do every month, but he's now in Houston and he's now
mhm,
in Raleigh, North Carolina. So
mhm,
we are doing the Raleigh show coming up after Christmas, and we haven't done that one yet. But unfortunately for him, we can't be at all 3 of them every single month because buying bulk, we have to be across the whole country. So,
yeah,
but we are definitely going to try to do 1 or 2 of his shows a month. So that's kind of helped us out. I'm hoping like throwing little things in his ears to get over to the West Coast, so like we could just do his circuit and just constantly go in a big circle at his places. But hopefully that's in his future too, because he's a very ambitious guy.
mhm,
But it's one of those things where we've spent so much money on tables already, like it's ridiculous.
yeah,
But that's to also secure our spots. Um, and then basically goals for next year would be a van. So this little van is, I don't know if you've seen the videos, but how low the back of the vehicle gets to the ground is it's pretty bad.
what is it?
It's just a regular Toyota Sienna, so it's basically just a
Mhm,
soccer van is all it is.
mhm,
And but that's the next step is to probably sell our 5th wheel and buy like a toy hauler C class, which is like a vehicle in a toy hauler.
mhm,
And then maybe like something like that where it's a little more stable. I can sleep out of it and not pay hotel bills.
mhm,
Um, Obviously, gas is way less on them, but that's like the next goal is to buy a van. It doesn't sound like much, but it's amazing
mhm,
what that would add to our business.
yeah,
So that's basically the next step here. And then from there, just keep building.
yeah, that's really cute.
Obviously we can get, more slabs or bigger stuff on our tables eventually to where it's not just small stuff, but we have even like the big stuff as well. So we
Mhm,
can literally hit every crowd. So
mhm,
we're hitting kind of the families, the collectors. We're kind of hitting some of the people that need a big card here and there, but they're not massive stuff on our table. Maybe $400 or $500 card at tops.
mhm,
But maybe we can delve into some of the bigger stuff next year. So
mhm.
goals that we're pushing towards. So
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great, and I know that's gonna be you guys are gonna absolutely kill it. I, what has been obviously, last time we talked about kind of your favorite memories, what have been your favorite memories since then? Like, that you've done and, like, experience on the road and stuff like that, or just in
yeah.
general?
So obviously, what's a little humbling, but there's a kid that Marshall's in Nashville, and I was in Tampa this show, but he showed Marsha one of our stickers,
Mhm,
and he was so proud of this. It's just a stupid sticker. I mean, it's
mhm,
we paid 30 cents or whatever for him, and but it meant so much to him seeing our stuff, and he was just telling Marsha this story about just how excited he was to see her and this and that, and so like that kind of stuff is just incredible to see. So very humbling. We're just normal people, but to this kid, like we're everything. So it might be dumb to the normal person, but it's just very touching. So
mhm,
just building more memories like that. So being able to kind of just connect with our crowd and our customers, and just make any light of like their lives. So that's the most important thing. Even obviously money is important, but that's the most important thing. This hobby's not going to grow without them. So this kid, if he didn't get to have the experience of cards and like that experience, he's not going to do it someday when he's our age.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's very special and near and dear. And then besides that, donating more stuff to like for cats and rescuing and that kind of stuff. So I always want to push that. So any way to donate time and money into that is very important. And then hopefully you get a little bit more time to see family. So that's been, obviously it's fun, and I'm spoiled to travel around the country, but I also don't get to see family as much. So
Yeah, I feel that. And that's great. And the building the connections is something that's like really good. And something that's awesome. I've definitely noticed. This might be a fun one. So I recently bought a lot from a kid or a friend of mine. And I'm looking through it, whatever, and this card was in there. See if I can find it.
oh, nice.
And I picked up the lot for like 40-50 bucks, and that card came in there. Hello. You went dark, Brenin. If you good.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. But I found this card in there. And I picked up a lot for, like 40-50 bucks. And it was crazy. I was like, wow, crazy finding a lot. Has there been any cards like that you found, or anything like crazy? Like, what's the craziest card you found in a lot?
I freaking wish. The amount of cards I've probably since July, I've probably held on to 5 million cards,
Mhm.
and no, I've not found anything like that. But I get excited over the stupid things like, oh my god, look at all these nice treasures, or
Yeah.
look at all these Arvins, because they add up in value.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I have not found anything cool like that. Every once in a while, we'll get like a Pheasant Dippity playable card or something, like a secret box, which is I think it was 15 bucks right now. But that's it. Unfortunately, I have not found something that beautiful. but
Yeah.
but
But
it adds up when you're buying 5 million cards. So
yeah, no, that's super cool. Yeah, I wondered if there's anything like that for you. That's super cool though. What would
I
you?
will say this, and I'm going to put Marsha on blast. We were in Huntsville one time, and she didn't realize what she was buying, but she bought she was buying like the cheap art rares off of some kid, and she had bought like a $78 Chilling Reign art rare off of him, and I was like, no, you need to go either tell him he wants the card back or pay him some money. She was so embarrassed. So now I'm gonna make sure she sees this when she watches this video. But definitely made sure that the kid got either the money he wanted or he got to keep his card.
Well,
if we saw something like that, we're not gonna gyp someone.
yeah, for sure.
Don't get me wrong. Like when we buy stuff, and let's say I found something like that Primal Kyogre in it, and I had no idea. Well, then obviously that's we tried, but yeah, we try to
Yeah, it's for sure. That's cool. And me and Master,
Chilling Reign Calyrex, that's what it was. Chilling Reign Calyrex. It was like that. The one Shadow Rider one, but I was just like, yeah, that's like an $80 card.
yeah, that's cool. There's stuff like that all the time. And buying TCG Player, like sometimes I'll bulk list a whole bunch of IRs at like $1 each, and then one of them turns out to be like 15 bucks. I'm like, oh, my bad. Like it's whatever. Yeah, it's interesting.
Our bins are the same way. Like I don't reprice our bins. So whether it's overpriced, you can come up to me and just say, hey, can you lower the price because that's what it's at? Like, I'm not going to go through our bins to reprice everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's plenty of things that go up in value that I'm like, yeah, it is. I bought it for how much, So now it's your turn to make a few bucks off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just part of the game, part of the hobby. It's interesting. It's just part of running a business in an industry that's also functioned as a collectible and like an appreciating asset in a way, that will go up and down, like any different asset. And I think that's just part of it for sure. I yeah. Would you recommend doing what you're doing to other people?
If you have the drive, I don't think anybody has the willpower that I do. Um, but and I'm exhausted. Like I said, I slept all day today. Um, I am beat, but um, it's also a passion of ours and something we love to do. The people we get to see and the faces of joy and happiness at shows, that makes up for it. During the week, it's boring. I mean, don't get me wrong, this stuff is not fun. It's fun to sit there and talk to people and meet people and see all that stuff on the road, but sitting inside the hotel and doing this sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I can't sugarcoat that. But there's money there. It's all on what you want to do with it. You also have to have the funds to go buy it. So I'm sitting on $20,000 worth of bulk right now that I don't get paid until it's sold. So do you want to take that off of your tables now, or do you want to, take it from other things that you might have to put those bills towards? It all depends on that as well. So it's not cheap. It might look like it's worth a couple pennies, but when you have hundreds of thousands of them, it adds up. So it's one of those situations as well. But yeah, as long as you have the drive, you have the passion for it. It might be a little different for somebody that doesn't have a family too. If you're, not having to come home to somebody, it might be easier sacrifice for you. But I'm also giving that time up too. So it's not as easy as people think it is, and it's exhausting. But if you enjoy it, you have fun with it, then yeah, absolutely. Even if it's, and here's another thing: if you're like in a local area, I have a guy in Huntsville that buys bulk, and he flips it to me. So he's buying it at a cheaper rate, obviously, so he makes money. But he's doing it on a short-term basis to where he can still make something off of it, but he's also selling it to me, to where he's getting rid of it right away. So there's also, if you want to do it on a short-term vein to where it's not killing your life, I guess. That's also another avenue. So there's a million different ways to take it.
Yeah.
Do you want to, if you want to buy it and pick it and take all the playables out and all the bigger cards and just sell to me, I don't care. So it's all the same to me. That's another thing you could do. Just buy a bunch of bulk, even buying it at cost. Even if you're like buying it at the same price you're selling it to me for, but just take a couple hours a day and just look through it, looking for the pricey cards. That's another way to source money. So there's so many avenues.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's obviously true and like great. And yeah, and I mean now for me and something for me, like the next big thing that I'm looking forward to is buying a car so that I can, with the money that I've gotten from Pokemon and to be able to like drive myself and do all this stuff. And something that I looked for was like, okay, what's big enough? Because, maybe I'm not buying both, but maybe I'm buying sealed for someone or something like that, or middlemaning sealed deals or whatever it might be. You have to
Oh,
have that availability, to
that's
be able to carry a lot of things.
that's another thing too. I would love to buy more sealed, but I don't have the room for sealed. So if we bought the toy hauler, my goal is to get something big enough to where we can actually buy sealed and put it in the van, because we literally get offered so much sealed, and I have to turn it all down because I have to worry about it getting dinged up or beaten, and obviously condition is everything with that kind of stuff. So that's another thing in the future here we need to try to work on. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, something bigger. Even if you have one table right now, I don't know what you're running right now,
I have 2. So we just moved to 2, but that's
so
because
if you
me
have
and
2
Matt.
tables, let's say you go to 3 or 4, now you have even more space you got to put into a vehicle. So just make sure that you can put that into something you're buying rather than, well, now I need to get a bigger vehicle because this vehicle is too small. That's what I'm running into. So
Yeah.
learn from that mistake.
Yeah. But that's in a way that's a good mistake to have, right? Like you
Oh yeah,
guys are
yeah.
growing in a way, so it's like such a big like not mistake, but that's like something you guys
You
now
see the
have to
growth.
account for. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I know we're pushing an hour 30 or an hour 20, and I know you have stuff you need to do. I know you're very tired. We asked what your goals are. Um, I guess what are you obviously asked your piece of advice. What is, I guess, we next steps? What's the next show that you guys are going to be doing?
Yeah, so here in Salem at the Cards and More tour, we love them, so we do a lot of their shows. They're also all over the country, so we can plan for them very easily. And then next weekend we'll be in Houston, so if anybody's in the Houston area, come check us out. But we'll be at the PokéCon, the big one there. So they're cool because he brings in guests and stuff. So Coop's Collectible will be there. I don't know who the other. I think it's MJTV or somebody. But Coop's at like pretty much all the shows, and he's so great for the community too. So come check him out. Come check us out. Obviously, buy from us. We love your business or sell us your bulk. But yeah, and then basically the holiday, so I'll be home for that, and then Charlie's Collectibles show, and then I don't even know from there. We got so many different things down the loop, but it's always bouncing around to either like a Charlie's Collectible, a Cards and More tour, because those are like our 2 favorites to deal with. Personally, we know them really well, and then obviously card parties and little shows back home here and there. So,
Well, there you go. Anything else you'd like to say before head out or anything?
not really. Just follow us on Instagram if you can. If you want to see like kind of what we do, a little bit more of the grind. I'm so bad at getting on Instagram. This is something you can teach me. Is to be better at this because I get so exhausted and overwhelmed, and like I have like lists of like names I have to keep up with, so I like make sure everyone gets met and so on, that I don't take time to reach out to the community. So like I said, the community is so big to us, and personally it just means the world to make someone stay. So like if we can go to a place and we talk to them and they're like, yeah, we've been following you and where you've been traveling and this and that, then following me on a piece of paper. So now let's let you live that experience a little bit. So like we're actually doing videos now where you can see like how this turns into actual sorted bulk. How you can kind of see the table being, set up and all that different stuff. So you can see I'm in Oregon right now. As we go down the coast, you can kind of see the different areas that we're in. So that's the next big step. So we want people to follow us on that journey. We want them to kind of like live vicariously through me and kind of see like what the life of what I do does, because there's not a lot of our kind of material out there. So a lot of people watch like the pack battles and Bulbasaur, sorry, and stuff like that. So this is just another avenue.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll be more than happy to help you in any way. And I think that'd be awesome opportunity.
Yeah,
And something that would be great to work with. But yeah, I guess thank you, Brendan, for coming on. And thank you everyone for watching. I make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Check out Brennan at the shows that he's doing. And yeah, well, that's it. Thank you, everyone. And that's been the 51st episode of the PokéSells official podcast. Bye bye.
thanks guys.